Have you ever been in someone's arms and felt nothing? No spark, no grounding, just an awkward silence wrapped in physical contact. And then, on another day, with another person, you feel it, that invisible current, that deep, wordless conversation that happens in the space between two beating hearts. It wasn't the duration. It wasn't technique. It was presence. That hug said more in 5 seconds than some people say in 5 years. We live in a world overflowing with noise, text messages, likes, conversations that skim the surface. But somewhere along the way, we've forgotten how to feel people. We've forgotten how to slow down enough to really connect, not just with our words, but with our energy. And yet, the body still remembers. The soul still reaches. And the hug remains. A hug is the most underestimated language of intimacy. It's not just about affection. It's about alignment. A woman knows this. She doesn't just hug you to greet you. She feels through you. She listens with her skin, her intuition, her nervous system. And in that moment, you are being read more than you are being held. The Stoics, who lived centuries ago without our screens or distractions, understood this better than we might think. To them, presence wasn't a buzzword. It was a practice. Wherever you are, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be there totally." And in no act is that more profound than in an embrace. Today, we're not just talking about hugs. We're exploring a form of emotional intelligence that few ever master. We'll look at 4 distinct types of hugs women give, each carrying its own message, its own test, its own invitation. You'll discover what she's really communicating, often without knowing it. And you'll learn how to respond, not as a performer, not as a seducer, but as a grounded, emotionally attuned man. Because when you stop treating a hug like a checkpoint and start experiencing it like a dialogue, everything changes. The truth is, you don't need game. You need gravity. The kind of gravity that makes a woman feel safe, seen, still. A man who hugs like he's home, not rushing, not performing, just being, is a man she doesn't forget. And that's what this video offers. A path to becoming that man, not through scripts or strategies, but through awareness, through depth, through presence. So if this speaks to something inside you, if a part of you is ready to move beyond the surface, beyond the noise, then stay. Subscribe to Stoic now, leave a comment below, and share your experience, because your journey might echo into someone else's healing. Now breathe in. Let's explore the hug, not as a habit, but as a gateway to emotional connection. Let's begin. Number 1. 4 types of hug, the silent language of emotional connection. Type 1. The friendly pat, where distance speaks. There's a certain kind of hug that feels more like a handshake in disguise, brief, light, and punctuated with a few quick pats on the back. The kind of embrace that says, "We're good, but not too close." And while it may seem harmless, it often carries deeper meaning than we give it credit for. This is the social hug, the friendly pat, a hug that offers form without feeling, a gesture built more on habit than heart. When a woman offers you this kind of embrace, she's not rejecting you, but she is defining the emotional boundary. It's polite, it's safe, and it's carefully distanced. There's no lingering, no leaning in, no moment that stretches beyond necessity. She might smile, she might even laugh, but her body isn't reaching for connection. It's protecting her space. Now here's where most men go wrong. They overanalyze or get disappointed. They mistake this social cue for rejection, or worse, they try to break through it with bravado. But a Stoic man knows better. He understands that not every door must be kicked down. Some are simply meant to remain gently closed until trust unlocks them. So how do you respond to the friendly pat? You respond with presence, not pressure. You stay grounded, not grabby. You don't shrink or sigh or fall into silent judgment. You meet her where she is, with calm, composed energy that says, "I'm here." No rush, no expectation. Marcus Aurelius said, "Receive without pride. Let go without attachment." That wisdom applies even here. If she's keeping her emotional guard up, respect it. Let your presence be the thing that softens her edge, not your persistence. Because this type of hug is not the end. It's the beginning of observation. An invitation to slow down and pay attention, not to her body, but to her comfort, her rhythm, her pace. When you show her that you're emotionally fluent enough to recognize boundaries without being offended, You create space for those boundaries to shift. Over time, some of the most powerful relationships grow from this exact moment, not through chasing, but through calm patience. And the man who doesn't flinch in this stillness becomes unforgettable. Type 2. The firm hug, the embrace of safety. Not all connections begin with words. Sometimes, it's the weight of a woman's arms around you, steady, sure, not fleeting, that tells you she's no longer guarding her space, but sharing it. Her hug carries substance, not desire, not yet, but calm familiarity. This is not just a gesture of courtesy, it's a statement of comfort. When a woman gives you a firm hug, she's not just saying hello, she's revealing something deeper. She feels safe enough to stay in your space for a moment. Her body relaxes slightly. There's no rush to pull away. She might not lean in fully, but she doesn't recoil either. She's present with you, and that means something. But don't mistake this for romance. It's not yet the language of desire. It's the language of comfort and growing familiarity. She sees stability in you. She feels ease. But emotional safety isn't the same as emotional intimacy. And here lies the quiet gap where most men stumble. What's needed in this moment isn't escalation. It's calibration. The Stoics remind us that we should not try to be better than others, but better than our previous selves. So in this space, don't try to win her. Don't chase approval or search for signs. Instead, become deeply present. Extend the hug just a second longer. Not to make a move, but to listen with your energy. What does her body say when you linger? Does she tighten or soften? Does she smile or tense? Watch for the subtle cues. That's where the truth lives. I once heard a man describe this kind of hug as the hinge on a door that's not yet open, but no longer locked. That's exactly it. It's an invitation, not to prove yourself, but to be yourself. Calm, clear, grounded. You're not trying to create connection. You're creating the conditions for it to grow. Hold her gently. Let the silence speak. Let your stillness assure her that you don't need more than what she's offering. That your worth isn't tied to how tightly she holds you. And if she senses that, she just might hold you longer next time. Type 3. The lingering embrace, when time begins to bend. There's a moment, rare but unmistakable, when a hug outlasts the expected rhythm of politeness. It lingers, not awkwardly, but intentionally. Her arms don't loosen first. Her body doesn't pull away. Instead, she settles, breathes, and for a few suspended seconds, time feels like it bends around you. This is not just a hug. This is emotional gravity. The lingering embrace is where a woman begins to reveal not just comfort, but connection. Her guard lowers. Her energy slows. She's not just touching you, she's feeling you. She's giving you a glimpse of something tender, something honest. And in that moment, the question is not, what do I do? The question is, can I stay still enough to honor this? Because this isn't a moment to conquer. It's a moment to hold. Seneca once wrote, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. And in today's world, where speed and detachment are celebrated, it takes courage to pause, to feel, to be felt. If she gives you this kind of hug, you're no longer a stranger. You've crossed a threshold, even if only slightly, into something sacred. The mistake many men make is mistaking this for immediate permission. They rush the next step. They move too quickly, speak too loudly, disrupt the quiet she just invited them into. Don't be that man. Be the one who doesn't flinch in the stillness. Let her linger, and match her energy with calm presence. Maybe place a gentle hand on her back, not to take control, but to echo her trust. You're not leading, you're resonating. Let your body say, I see you. I'm here. I'm not rushing. Because this type of hug isn't about what's happening between your arms. It's about what's rising between your souls. And if she rests her head a little, if her breath deepens, if she closes her eyes just briefly, that's not by accident. That's her spirit checking in with yours. So stay, breathe with her, let the moment stretch. Because the man who doesn't need to rush what's sacred becomes the one she remembers long after the moment has passed. Type 4. The intimate embrace, when she hands you her heart. She leans into you like she's been carrying something heavy, and in that moment, decides to set it down. Her head rests against your chest, her fingers draw tighter, and her breath moves with yours. Not just comfort, not just connection, but trust, offered quietly, without conditions. This is the intimate embrace. It's not always loud. It's not always dramatic. but it speaks volumes in silence. When a woman gives you this kind of hug, she isn't just saying, "I feel safe." She's saying, "I feel home." And that word, home, is one few men ever realized they could be. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That mastery, in a moment like this, is not about power, it's about presence. Can you stay still enough to meet her vulnerability with your strength? Can you quiet your inner noise long enough to feel what she's really offering you? Because in this embrace, she's not testing you anymore. She's trusting you. She's not asking you to impress her. She's inviting you into her world, into the quiet part of her that is rarely seen, barely spoken, and easily bruised. And how you respond matters. If she presses deeper into you, don't pull away. Let your body speak the words your mouth doesn't need to say. You're safe here. Place your hand gently at her back, not to hold her down, but to let her rise, emotionally, without fear of falling. Don't break the silence. Don't shift the mood. Let the stillness breathe. This is not the time for jokes, not the time to prove anything. This is a sacred pause, a moment carved out of chaos, where two people remember what real connection feels like. And if you feel her exhale deeply into your chest, it means she's releasing something. Maybe a fear, maybe a wall, maybe a piece of her story. Hold that with care. The man who can hold a woman not to take, not to impress, not to seduce, but simply to witness her, is the man she never forgets. And in that sacred stillness, your presence becomes unforgettable. Number 2, the deeper meaning of a hug. A hug, when stripped of habit and returned to its essence, becomes a conversation without language. Not the kind filled with logic or persuasion, but the kind that speaks soul to soul. No rehearsed lines, no clever replies, just two nervous systems quietly searching for resonance. The Stoics taught that the most important battles are internal, and the most meaningful gestures are often the quietest. A true hug is one of those gestures. It reveals how at ease you are with silence, how present you are with discomfort, how deeply you can feel without needing to fix, prove, or perform. Because when you hug a woman, your body speaks before your mouth does. And what it says matters. She doesn't just notice the way your arms wrap around her. She feels the why behind it. Are you holding her to be held? Or are you holding her to feel needed? To feel strong? To feel validated? The energy behind the embrace is the real message. If your mind is anxious, rushing ahead, calculating, second-guessing, she feels that. The hug becomes stiff, disconnected, shallow. But if your mind is clear, your breath slow, your intention clean, she melts, not because of your body, but because of your being. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength applies here, because the one who commands his own nervous system, his own thoughts, his own presence, commands the moment without needing to dominate it. Your touch doesn't have to be perfect, but your attention does. The truth is, a woman doesn't need a man who knows how to hold her technically. She needs a man who knows how to be with her energetically. A man whose arms aren't just physical, they're emotional shelter. That's why your mindset matters. Your breath matters. Your presence matters. Because in every hug, you're offering something sacred. The energy of safety, the vibration of stillness, the invitation to rest. The most unforgettable men don't impress with their strength. They reassure with their softness. And the hug becomes not just a gesture, but a doorway. Into peace, into presence, into something she can finally trust. Number 3, practicing emotional mastery through the hug. Emotional mastery doesn't begin in moments of crisis. It begins in the smallest, most tender interactions, like a hug. Because how you hold someone, how long you stay, how attuned you are in that silence, reveals everything about your inner world. Most men are never taught how to lead emotionally. They're told to pursue, to perform, to provide. But presence, attunement, vulnerability, those are treated as luxuries, or worse, as weaknesses. And yet, it is precisely these soft skills that make a man unforgettable in the arms of a woman. To lead with your presence means you're not distracted while you hold her. You're not thinking about what comes next. You're not analyzing. You're feeling, not in a chaotic, needy way, but in a grounded, observational stillness. You're with her, and in that moment, your body becomes a vessel of safety. This is the first practice. Presence. Breathe. Feel her breathing. Be fully there. No more. No less. The second practice is vulnerability. To be silently vulnerable is to allow your heart to be soft, even while your frame remains strong. It's when your arms don't just hold her. They say, "You're allowed to be human here. So am I." In that space, trust begins to grow. Not because you said the right thing, but because you made it safe for her to feel everything without being judged, rushed, or abandoned. And finally, the third practice, the graceful release. A powerful man knows when to let go, not too soon, not too late. He listens not just with his ears, but with his energy. He doesn't cling. He doesn't drag the moment. He lets the hug in the moment it begins to fade, preserving its purity instead of draining its power. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." And emotional bravery, especially in intimate stillness, is what sets a stoic man apart. It's the courage to stay soft, to not rush, to not need, to allow connection without trying to control it. So when you next embrace a woman, ask yourself, not what she's feeling, but what you're offering. Because if your presence is clear, your breath steady, your intention pure, the hug becomes a sacred exchange. And in her arms, you stop being just a man. You become a memory. Final reflection, let the hug be the emotion, not the gesture. Too many hugs are forgotten the moment they end. Not because they lacked contact, but because they lacked meaning. They were rushed, performed, given out of obligation or impulse, not as a conscious act of connection. And in a world full of noise, speed, and distraction, the simple act of holding someone can feel rare. But when it's done right, with intention, presence, and depth, a hug doesn't just touch the body. It imprints the heart. You see, a hug isn't something you do. It's something you offer. And when offered with clarity and grounded emotion, it becomes a quiet declaration. I see you. I'm with you. You're safe here. That's why it stays. Not because of pressure, technique, or duration, but because of the emotional frequency behind it. That's what lingers in her nervous system long after you've walked away. That's what replays in her memory during the quiet hours of the night. So let the hug be more than a gesture. Let it be a moment of presence, a meditation in motion, a sacred stillness that holds more than words ever could. And if you carry nothing else from this journey, carry this. The quality of your touch is shaped by the quality of your thoughts. If your mind is scattered, your embrace will be shallow. But if your mind is anchored, soft, steady, undistracted, your hug will become unforgettable. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love, to touch. And in that spirit, let every hug you give become a reflection of your inner clarity. Not forced, not rushed, but offered. And in doing so, you'll leave behind not just a memory, but a feeling, a quiet echo of safety and soulfulness that no one else can replicate. If this message stirred something in you, I invite you to like, subscribe to Stoic now, and leave a comment below. Not because we need the numbers, but because your story might be the voice someone else is searching for. And remember, it's not how tightly you hold her, it's how deeply you're there when you do.